Welcome to Chapter 6, Developing the Incident Action Plan. Think of the IAP like a roadmap. Without it, even the best rope team can end up, well, lost in the spaghetti. Today, we're stepping up to operations-level planning. You'll learn the 5 phases of planning, command functions, and communications. Your job as an operations-level rescuer? Follow the plan. Watch out for your team. Spot hazards before they become problems. And yes, if you're worried about forgetting the plan, don't worry. It's easier than folding a fitted sheet, we promise. Welcome to the first step in making your rescue team operate like a well-oiled machine, without the risk of anyone ending up as the machine's grease. In rope rescue operations, efficiency and safety aren't just buzzwords, they're lifelines. Following established procedures gives your team a huge advantage. When everyone knows what's expected, you can anticipate your team leader's instructions, which makes your response faster, smoother, and safer. Think of it this way. If everyone knows the playbook, the team can focus on executing it, instead of trying to figure it out mid-rescue. You'll be better prepared mentally and physically, able to respond calmly under pressure, and less likely to make critical mistakes that could compromise the operation. Of course, no 2 rescues are exactly alike, so procedures should always be evaluated and modified to fit your team's capabilities and the unique environment you're working in. Just like making a sandwich, sometimes you need more mustard, sometimes more pickles, but never forget the bread or things fall apart. Rescue is not a one-size-fits-all proposition. While national standards provide valuable guidance and the big picture perspective, local responders know their area best. Experienced personnel who are familiar with local terrain, resources, and hazards should take the lead in developing standard operating procedures, or SOPs, that are both realistic and relevant to the response area. Following SOPs helps ensure that every team member knows what's expected, can anticipate instructions, and can act efficiently under pressure. And remember, think of SOPs like knots. If you follow the right steps, everything holds tight. Skip one, and suddenly your rescue plan is a tangled mess you'll be untying for hours. Welcome to the heart of operational rope rescue, the Incident Action Plan, or IAP. At the operations level, this isn't just a document. It's the blueprint for success. Every assignment, every rope system, every team movement flows from the IAP. An effective IAP is incident-specific. It's based on your SOPs and a thorough size-up. You need to know the terrain, hazards, available resources, and your objectives before you start rigging anything. A solid IAP lets the team anticipate needs, stay coordinated, and respond safely. Think of the IAP as your rescue GPS, constantly updating as conditions change. For example, if a sudden weather change affects a cliffside rescue, the IAP guides decision-making, so you're not improvising blind on the edge. Now, at operations level, understanding command hierarchy is critical. The Incident Commander, IC, oversees IAP development, but as operators, your input informs those decisions. The IC ensures that strategic decisions and tactical assignments align with both safety and operational goals. The IAP is a living document. Operations-level personnel need to anticipate updates and be ready to implement changes. Verbal plans may suffice for short, low-risk incidents, but larger, multi-hour, or complex rescues require a written plan, often coordinated with logistics, operations, and safety sections. For example, during tower rescue, the IC may revise the IAP if wind speeds increase. Operations personnel must quickly understand adjustments to hauling systems, anchoring, or evacuation routes. The Incident Action Plan, or IAP, is a glue that holds a rescue operation together. At the operations level, it's not just paperwork. It's your roadmap for safety and success. First, the IAP defines how resources fit the operation. This means every rope team, every anchor system, and every piece of equipment is assigned a specific purpose. No guessing, no overlapping duties, and no, oops, we forgot the pulley system. Everyone knows exactly where they fit in the bigger picture. Next, it provides clear command objectives. The IC sets the strategic goals, like getting a patient safely from the cliff to the stretcher, but your role is to understand those objectives and translate them into real-world actions. Knowing the objectives keeps your efforts aligned with the mission and prevents wasted time or unsafe improvisation. The IAP also identifies tasks and assignments. Who's hauling? Who's belaying? Who's monitoring the safety line? As operations-level rescuers, you should be able to take your assignment and execute it without second-guessing, while also being aware of the tasks of your teammates. It establishes a framework for evaluating progress. The IAP allows the IC to measure how the operation is moving along, but also helps you track milestones. For example, once the first casualty is safely on the ground, the plan tells you what comes next, whether it's setting up a secondary anchor or preparing the next patient. Another key function is that the IAP maintains operational focus. In the chaos of a rescue, it's easy to get distracted by noise, by onlookers, or even by adrenaline. The IAP keeps the team focused on the task at hand and prevents tunnel vision from causing mistakes. Finally, it supports clear communications. Every action, every instruction, every change flows through the IAP framework. Whether you're relaying progress to the IC or requesting resources, the plan provides a common language for the entire team. Think of it like a radio protocol for your rescue plan, clear, concise, and predictable. At the operations level, understanding these functions isn't just academic. Your ability to interpret and act within the IAP directly affects safety, efficiency, and the outcome of the rescue. And remember, the only thing worse than a tangled rope is a tangled rescue plan. So keep it organized, communicate clearly, and execute confidently. When we talk about an incident action plan, we often hear the term operational periods. Think of these like chapters in a book. Each one has a start and end and a set of tasks that keep the story moving. A complete IAP encompasses all operational periods, meaning it's designed to cover the entire incident from start to finish. But here's the key. Operational periods can also be broken down into smaller segments. You might have one period dedicated to search and rope rigging, another for patient packaging, and another for extrication or evacuation. Operational periods don't have a strict length. Commonly, they run anywhere from 6 to 10 hours, but this is flexible. Factors like rescuer fatigue, environmental conditions, or the complexity of the operation can shorten or extend a period. The goal is to make sure that everyone remains safe, alert, and effective throughout the rescue. Different areas of command may also have their own operational periods. For example, a rope team operating on a cliff face may have a separate time segment from the base support or logistics team. By structuring the incident this way, the IAP keeps every section organized and accountable and ensures no team is left guessing about their responsibilities. In rope rescue operations, establishing the length of an operational period isn't just a number on a form. It's a careful balance between the mission objectives and the human element. Rescuers need adequate rest, recovery, and rehabilitation to stay sharp, avoid mistakes, and maintain safety. Fatigue is one of the biggest hidden hazards in any technical rescue operation. The operational period is typically defined on the FEMA ICS 202 Incident Objectives form, which serves as the front page of the IAP. This form helps separate operational periods if the IAP is segmented and clearly communicates the anticipated duration of each phase. While many operational periods range from 6 to 10 hours, there's no hard and fast rule. The deciding factor should always be what allows your team to operate effectively and safely. Sometimes resources are stretched thin and you're running low on personnel, energy, or equipment. In those moments, you might have to embrace the suck and power on even when tired. But remember, safety is always priority number one. Keep an eye on your teammates, monitor for signs of fatigue, and make adjustments as necessary. A well-timed break, proper hydration, and a quick reassessment of your operational period can prevent small problems from becoming major incidents. The key takeaway is this. Operational periods are a planning tool to protect both your team and the people you're rescuing. They give structure to the mission, but they also have to be flexible enough to respond to realities of the field. Always balance mission urgency with human endurance, because even the best plan fails if the rescuers aren't able to execute it safely. Now let's talk about Planning P. No, it's not a new energy drink, but it is just as critical to keeping you alert during a complex rope rescue. Planning P is a mnemonic developed by FEMA to help incident commanders and staff systematically develop the Incident Action Plan. It provides a framework to revisit key areas of the incident, ensuring nothing is overlooked. Whether you're dealing with initial size-up, ongoing tactical decisions, or coordinating support sections, Planning P keeps you methodical and organized. The framework differentiates between initial planning, what you do right as the incident starts, and ongoing planning, which is about constantly updating your objectives and tactics as the incident evolves. It emphasizes the critical importance of adequate planning, which directly ties into safety, efficiency, and success of the rescue. For awareness-level rescuers moving into operations-level tasks, Planning P helps you understand the thought process behind decision-making. Even if you're not writing the IAP yourself, knowing the structure and flow of Planning P allows you to anticipate commands, understand priorities, and support your team more effectively. Think of it this way. Planning P is like a pre-flight checklist for a helicopter rescue. Skip a step, and it might just be a rope and a knot rather than a patient in a basket. At the start of any rope rescue, your first priority is to understand the situation. This phase applies mostly to the initial stages, but even as an operations-level rescuer, your situational awareness is critical. Think of it as building the vertical leg of the Planning P. This is where you observe, gather information, and start forming a clear picture of the incident. Once the first operational period is underway, that Planning P evolves into the Operation O. What does that mean? The focus shifts from planning only to continuous, active management, updating objectives, refining tactics, and making sure the team is aligned with what's happening on the ground. The plan becomes a living, breathing tool that grows and changes as conditions evolve. During this phase, you'll be constantly assessing hazards, unstable terrain, rope anchor points, environmental factors, monitoring resources, both human and equipment, and identifying gaps, making sure information flows efficiently. Everyone needs to know what's expected, where the risks are, and how their role fits into the bigger picture. Execution, evaluation, and revision are all part of the cycle. As new information comes in, whether shifts, patient condition changes, or a critical piece of equipment becomes unavailable, the plan must be updated. This is where situational awareness drives every decision. Even when resources are low or rescuers are tired, the operation often requires you to embrace the suck and keep moving forward. But safety always remains priority number one. Work smart, communicate clearly, and keep your team informed. Key takeaway: your observations, reports, and situational awareness form the backbone of the entire rescue operation. From the initial Planning P to the ongoing Operation O, your ability to adapt, share information, and maintain focus ensures the team can respond safely and effectively. Command emphasis is like your compass out in the field. It helps everyone know where we're headed, what's important, and how to stay safe along the way. It's not just a form on a page. It's the guiding light for the operational period. Expected outcomes or milestones. Think of these as the checkpoints for your rescue operation. What do we want to see accomplished by the end of this period? Maybe it's reaching a victim, setting up a rope system, or stabilizing a hazard. These give everyone a target to aim for and a sense of accomplishment as you progress. Priorities. Not everything can be done at once, so this is where we decide what matters most right now. For example, a live victim is always higher priority than gear retrieval. Priorities keep the team focused and prevent spreading resources too thin, especially when things get intense or resources are low. These are the takeaways everyone should carry with them. It could be reminders like watch for falling rock, keep the rope system simple, or rotate crews to prevent fatigue. Key messages shape how rescuers approach the operation in a way that aligns with the overall plan. Safety observations. Safety isn't just a box to check. It's a living part of the operation. These are the points the command wants everyone to watch closely. Environmental hazards, weather changes, physical stress, or mental fatigue. Observations help prevent small issues from turning into big problems. This is your step-by-step rhythm for the operational period. It doesn't have to be rigid, but a logical sequence keeps everyone coordinated. Think of it as a trail map through a tricky section of terrain. It shows the best path forward while keeping hazards in mind. Command emphasis ensures that, even in complex or changing conditions, everyone understands what to do, why it matters, and how to do it safely. And remember, after the first operational period, the Planning P transitions into the Operation O, so your compass keeps guiding you through a live, evolving operation. Once you've sized up the situation, the next step is crafting clear incident objectives. Think of these as the trail markers that guide your team to the operation. They tell everyone where we're going, why it matters, and what the end goal looks like. General goals. Start with the big picture. What needs to be accomplished during this operational period? Maybe it's safely reaching a stranded hiker, stabilizing a rope system, or evacuating an area. These goals are your North Star. They give direction without dictating every step. Specific tactics for later. While objectives don't tell you exactly how to do the job, they set the foundation for Phase 3, where tactics are developed. Think of objectives like, we need to get across the river safely. Later, you'll decide whether to set up a rope ferry, a pulley system, or a temporary bridge. Operational period assignment. Some objectives may take the full operational period. Others may stretch across multiple periods. List them in priority order, so the team knows what comes first if things get hectic. Clarity and completeness. Objectives should be crystal clear. Everyone on the team should be able to read them and immediately know what matters. Include both current objectives and ongoing goals to keep the big picture in mind. Big picture perspective. These objectives help rescuers stay aware of how their actions fit into the whole operation. Even when you're focused on a single task, like rigging a rope or moving gear, you'll understand how it supports the overall mission. Incident objectives are like planting trail markers on a mountain path. They don't tell you exactly how to navigate every rock and route, but they show the direction and ensure everyone moves safely toward the same endpoint. Once you've laid out your incident objectives, the SMART model is a handy way to make sure they're clear, actionable, and realistic. Think of it like checking your gear before heading into the woods. You want everything in place so the mission runs smoothly. S, specific. Be precise. Instead of saying get people to safety, say establish a rope line to evacuate the stranded hiker from the cliff face within this operational period. The more specific, the easier it is for everyone to know exactly what's expected. M, measurable. Make your objectives trackable. How will you know when you've succeeded? Maybe it's the number of people rescued, the completion of a rigging system, or the stabilization of a patient. If you can't measure it, it's hard to evaluate progress. Action-oriented. Objectives should describe what actions need to be taken, not just a goal. It's about giving your team a clear path forward, like following the markers on a trail. You know where to step next. R, realistic. Keep it achievable. Assess your resources, team skills, and environmental conditions. There's no point aiming for a plan that will require teleportation. Set objectives your team can actually accomplish safely. T, time-oriented. Set a clear time frame. Whether it's a current operational period or longer, having a time horizon keeps everyone focused and allows for planning future periods effectively. Using the SMART model is like packing for a backcountry trip. You make sure every objective has a map, a compass, and a route you can realistically travel. When objectives are SMART, your team can move forward with confidence, clarity, and safety at the forefront. Incident objectives are like the trail markers on a hike. They show the direction your team needs to go without dictating every single step. Set the direction. Objectives tell your team what needs to be accomplished. They don't prescribe exactly how to do it. That comes later in your tactics. Think of objectives as a North Star guiding your actions. Big picture perspective. When objectives are clear, everyone on the team can see how their role fits into the overall mission. Even small tasks contribute to the bigger goal, keeping the operation coordinated and focused. Focus on priorities. Objectives help you decide what matters most first. When the team knows the key goals, they can avoid wasting time on side tasks and concentrate on what will have the greatest impact on the rescue. Flexibility. Conditions change, weather, resources, or hazards may shift unexpectedly. Objectives should be adaptable, giving rescuers a clear endpoint while allowing them to adjust the route to get there safely. Incident objectives give your rescue operation direction and purpose. They keep everyone moving toward the goal, maintain focus, and make sure every action is meaningful. Even when the terrain gets tricky, think of your objectives like the roots of a strong tree. They're what hold everything together. In rope rescue, clearly defined objectives give your operation structure, direction, and stability. Foundation for tactics.
How you doing, Jan?
The actual steps your team takes in the field. grow out of these objectives. If the roots are solid, the branches and leaves, your actions can reach safely and effectively toward the goal. Communicate the plan. Clear objectives let everyone on the team see the big picture. When rescuers know exactly what needs to be accomplished, coordination becomes smoother, and decisions in the field are faster and safer. Guide command emphasis. Objectives shape the command's key messages, including priorities, safety reminders, and milestones for the operational period. They make sure everyone is aligned and focused on the same goals. Maintain perspective. Even when things get messy or conditions change, clear objectives help your team stay oriented. They act like trail markers in the wilderness, keeping everyone moving toward the right endpoint instead of wandering in circles. Strong, well-communicated objectives are the backbone of every rescue. They keep your tactics grounded, your team coordinated, and your mission moving forward safely. Once we got our objectives clear, it's time to turn planning into action. This is where we take the what from phase 2 and figure out the how. Operational tactics. Think of operational tactics as the big steps to get the job done safely and efficiently. This is where strategy meets boots-on-the-ground action. We start by creating strategic plans, outlining approaches to safely rescue subjects while considering hazards, resources, and time. The work is divided into smaller tasks and assigned to subgroups, so everyone knows exactly what they're responsible for. The operations officer oversees the whole operation, making sure each subgroup is coordinated and adjusting as conditions change. Strategy. Strategy is like choosing the trail through the woods. You pick the safest and most effective route to the objective. It forms a framework for tactics and guides all decisions. Strategies are living plans, constantly evolving as new information or obstacles appear. Always include backup plans, because even the best-laid paths may run into unexpected hazards. Strategy is a team effort. Everyone contributes ideas, but the plan must be realistic, achievable, and make good use of available resources. Tactics. Tactics are the step-by-step actions that put the strategy into motion. They break down strategic plans into specific tasks for each subgroup. Each subgroup works under the guidance of the operations officer, who keeps the big picture in mind while making adjustments in real time. As the situation evolves, tactics are updated, keeping the operation responsive and safe. Phase 3 is all about turning objectives into action, connecting strategy to practical steps, and keeping everyone coordinated, informed, and safe. Think of it as making the map come alive in the field. When we talk about strategy, think of it as a big picture plan that guides how we reach our objectives safely and efficiently. It's the trail we pick through the terrain of the incident. Forming the strategy, we identify the approach to achieving the incident objectives. It's not about every tiny step yet, just the overall path. Framework for tactics. Strategy sets the stage for the more detailed tactics that will come next. Adaptability. Conditions change quickly in the field. Hazards, resources, and new information may shift your plan. Strategy should constantly evolve, and it's always smart to have backup options. Collaboration. Strategy isn't made in isolation. Input from team members, officers, and subject matter experts helps make the plan stronger. Practicality. Every strategy must be achievable, appropriate, and a wise use of resources. No good if it looks great on paper, but fails in practice. Strategy is your North Star, guiding tactics, keeping the operation aligned with objectives, and helping everyone understand the why behind their actions. Tactics are where your strategy comes alive on the ground. This is the practical how-to that turns objectives into action and keeps the team moving safely and efficiently. Step-by-step actions. Tactics break your strategy into manageable steps. Each subgroup knows exactly what they're responsible for. Clear assignments make life easier and safer in the field. Implementation. This is the part where the plan meets reality. Your team executes the tasks while staying alert to changing conditions. Subgroup oversight. The operations officer keeps track of all subgroups, making sure everyone is coordinated and working toward the objective. Continuous updates. Conditions change fast. Hazards emerge, resources shift, or progress moves slower than expected. Tactics must be dynamic, constantly refined as the situation develops. Pace planning. Remember pace. primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. For every tactic, have backup options ready. Primary, the plan you hope will succeed. Alternate, a plan if the primary faces obstacles. Contingency, a plan for unexpected challenges. Emergency, your safety net if everything else fails. Using PACE ensures that no matter what happens, the team always has options and safety stays first. Think of it like packing layers for a day in the woods. You plan for sunshine, rain, and the occasional thunderstorm. Tactics are the hands-on execution of your strategy, and by applying PACE, you're staying prepared, adaptable, and safe while making measurable progress toward your objectives. Once your plan starts taking shape, the next step is making sure everyone knows what's happening and what their role is. This is where briefings come into play. Incident briefing. This is the big picture overview. It includes the incident objectives, what we're trying to accomplish, and the incident communications plan, so everyone knows how to stay in touch safely and efficiently. We'll go over command staff information, assignments, the incident map, medical plan, and the safety message. Think of it as handing out your roadmap for the operation. If there's any other information needed, like specific hazards or environmental considerations, we cover that too. Operations briefing. Held at the start of each operational period, this is where the details meet the team. On larger, more complex incidents, this briefing might be for leadership positions only, keeping the command chain tight. On smaller incidents, it's best to include all available rescuers, so everyone is on the same page. Key purpose. The goal is to make sure all responders understand their tasks, the hazards, and the overall plan. Clear communication at this stage keeps everyone coordinated, reduces confusion, and strengthens situational awareness. Think of it like checking the trail markers before heading into the woods. References and best practices. This approach aligns with FEMA ICS training courses, including ICS 100, 200, 300, 400, 700, and 800, which emphasize clear communication, command structure, and systematic information flow. Using these principles ensures your briefings are consistent, standardized, and effective. A plan is only as good as a team's understanding of it. Briefings turn strategy into action, build shared awareness, and keep everyone moving safely toward the objectives. Now that we've prepared the plan and gathered all the pieces, it's time to bring the team together for the operations briefing. This is the moment where we translate strategy into action and make sure everyone knows exactly what's expected. Timing. Briefings are held at the beginning of each operational period, so everyone starts the period with the same understanding. Think of it as checking your map and compass before setting out on a new trail. Scope. On large or complex operations, briefings may be focused on leadership or supervisory positions to keep communication streamlined. On smaller incidents, it's best to bring in all available rescuers, so no one is left in the dark. Content. Key points to cover include relevant operational information, what's changed since the last period, new hazards, updated resources, assignments and tasks, who's doing what, and how subgroups are structured. Safety considerations, reinforce priorities, identify high-risk areas, and remind the team to speak up if something feels unsafe. Communications, confirm channels, call signs, or radios. Everyone should know how to reach each other efficiently. Why it matters. Briefings keep everyone situationally aware, reduce confusion, and ensure coordination across the team. When everyone knows the plan and understands the hazards, the operation runs smoother and safer. Encourage questions. If someone isn't clear on their task or notices a potential hazard, addressing it before heading into the field is far safer than discovering it mid-operation. FEMA ICS tie-in. Following the practices taught in ICS 100 to 800 courses, this briefing process keeps your team aligned with nationally recognized standards, making your operations more predictable, safer, and effective. The operations briefing is your chance to sync up, boost team awareness, and make sure everyone has the tools, knowledge, and confidence to perform safely. Remember, a well-informed team is a safer, more effective team. Now we move into the phase where the plan meets the real world, execution. This is where all the preparation comes to life. But it's also where staying sharp and communicating effectively can make or break the operation. Communication is everything. Keep a steady flow of field reports coming in. Check on conditions, resource status, and any unexpected hazards. Supervisory visits aren't just for oversight. They give leadership eyes on the ground and help identify problems early. Ongoing dialogue between team members keeps everyone on the same page. Share observations, ask questions, and report changes immediately. Information relevant to the incident should always flow to the right people, whether it is a shift in weather, a new hazard, or a change in victim status. Remember, your Incident Action Plan, IAP, isn't static. As conditions change, so must your plan. Executing, evaluating, and revising it continuously keeps the operation safe, efficient, and responsive. Stay alert, keep talking, and treat the plan as a living document. Your situational awareness feeds every decision on the scene. Keeping the rescue organized in the field is all about structure, clarity, and simplicity. Start with a quick size-up of the incident. Take note of hazards, access points, and victim location, like scanning the forest before moving in. Organize an immediate initial response to reach and stabilize the victim. Speed matters, but so does safety. Use ICS and identify positions. Everyone should know their role and who to report to. Confusion kills time and energy. Establish an accessible staging area for tools, gear, and personnel. Keep it centralized and easy to reach. Limit unnecessary communications in technical terrain. Only essential updates go through the chain of command to reduce overload. Stay ahead of the logistics curve. Think 2 steps ahead. Plan and act now before problems snowball. Keep rescue systems simple and safe. Complexity breeds mistakes, especially when fatigue sets in. If resources are low or conditions tough, sometimes you just embrace the suck and power on, but safety always comes first. A well-structured, communicative team is faster, safer, and more effective. Simple, clear actions combined with ongoing awareness will get the job done while protecting both rescuers and victims. When it comes time to put your Incident Action Plan, IAP, into motion, the key is coordination. Think of the IAP as a roadmap for your team, and the ICS structure as the trail markers that keep everyone on course. The ICS framework is flexible. It expands and contracts to match the needs of the incident. As the situation grows or shrinks, your structure adapts without losing clarity. Implementation works best when everyone understands their role, from the edge manager to the newest responder. Tip: treat the IAP like a living guide. It tells you what needs to happen, but it allows you to adjust as conditions on the ground change. Managing your team is about balance. Don't overtask your leaders and don't leave them idle. Optimum span of control: 1 supervisor to 3 to 5 subordinate personnel. Never more than 7, because too many direct reports can overwhelm even the best leader. To make things manageable, break responders into smaller tactical level components. Teams: the smallest functional unit. Groups: multiple teams with shared mission or location. Divisions: larger areas or sectors managed by a single supervisor. Keeping teams small and focused ensures clear communication, faster decisions, and safer operations. Leadership isn't just giving orders. It's about constant awareness. Knowing where everyone is and what they're doing is critical for safety and efficiency. Personnel accountability reporting: PAR keep track of everyone using. Tactical worksheets. Command boards. Apparatus writing lists. PAR isn't just paperwork. It ensures that you can efficiently rotate crews for rest and rehabilitation, especially during long or demanding incidents. Maintaining awareness also helps prevent mistakes, speeds up decision-making, and keeps the operation organized and safe. A supervisor who knows where everyone is and what they're doing can lead effectively, keep teams safe, and make the IAP work in the real world. Let's talk about chain of command. It's the backbone of a smooth rescue, kind of like a strong tree trunk holding up all the branches. 1 boss at a time. Every rescuer should have just 1 clear supervisor. No split loyalties, no confusion. Think of it as following a single trail through the woods. Clear reporting. Make sure everyone knows exactly who to report to. If you're not sure, you're like a hiker lost without a map. Supervisor clarity. Leaders need to know who's on their team, just like a ranger knows which animals belong to which part of the park. Why it matters. A clear chain of command keeps the operation safe, coordinated, and efficient. It ensures that when things get hectic, Everyone knows where they belong and what to do. Remember, the stronger the trunk, the steadier the forest. Now, let's talk about roles. Think of this as making sure every creature is in the right habitat, doing what it does best, based on skills and abilities. Assign tasks where rescuers can use their strengths and stay safe, not just because of seniority or title. Needs of the incident first. Always put the mission above rank or ego. The goal is to get the rescue done efficiently and safely. Focus on the good of the whole. Everyone should work together and set egos aside. The forest thrives when all the animals cooperate. Transfer command when leadership changes hands. Be explicit and direct. Hold a briefing to make sure everyone knows who's in charge. Confusion here is like a fallen tree blocking the trail. When roles are clear and leadership is solid, the team flows like a river, adjusting, adapting, and getting the job done safely. When multiple agencies show up on scene, it's kind of like different groups of hikers converging on the same trail. Everyone has good intentions, but without coordination, things can get tangled fast. Potential conflicts. When multiple jurisdictions respond, it can spark confusion over who's in charge. Think of it like multiple squirrels all trying to lead the same nut hunt. Complicates response planning. Developing a unified approach is trickier. Each agency has its own way of doing things, like different paths through the forest. Without communication, it can slow progress. Unified command. Each agency appoints its own incident commander, IC. The ICs jointly decide the incident objectives, so everyone is pulling in the same direction, like a coordinated migration of birds. A single operations officer is appointed to carry out these objectives. This keeps the plan moving smoothly on the ground, avoiding confusion and overlapping efforts. Key to success. The single operations officer is a linchpin. They make sure all the moving parts work together safely and efficiently. When we combine forces without stepping on each other's toes, it's like a well-choreographed dance in the forest. Everyone knows their steps, and the rescue flows naturally. Imagine you're in a canyon, wind howling, water rushing, and someone is trying to shout instructions. Tough, right? That's why effective communication is absolutely critical on any rope rescue. High-angle environments make normal talking difficult. Your voice can get lost in the wind, echoes, or distance. Standard voice communication still works for close range, but don't rely on it for long distances. Think of it like trying to talk to your friend across a forest. Sometimes you need a better system. Always consider environmental factors. Distance, wind, traffic, crowd noise, or weather conditions can all interfere. Radios are great, but even the best gear can struggle in the wilderness. Think of trying to shout to a friend on the other side of a hill. You won't always be heard. Radio system disruptions in the wilderness include confined spaces, caves, gullies, tight tree lines, terrain features, ridges, cliffs, hills, dense forest or heavy vegetation, structures, cabins, bridges, towers, electromagnetic interference. Tips for improving communication. Line of sight matters. A radio is like your climbing rope's line of sight. If a rock or tree gets away, the signal can't travel. Make sure there's a clear path, or pass the message through someone who can see both ends. Switch from repeater to simplex systems when terrain blocks signals. Deploy a human radio relay at a vantage point to bridge gaps. Keep track of channels to avoid confusion. Label them or carry a frequency sheet. Remember, radios are tools, but you need to work with the land. Think about hills, trees, and even weather when planning your comms. Sometimes a short walk to higher ground is all it takes to get the message through. Keeping track of your radio channels is like knowing which trail you're on. Get lost and everyone's scrambling. Same frequency radios. Use channel numbers. Different frequency radios. Name the channels clearly. Keep a frequency sheet handy or label the radios so everyone knows where to tune in. Okay, team, let's talk about your radio. Think of it like your compass out here in the wilderness. Just like you'd keep your compass protected and ready, you want to treat your radio the same way. It's your lifeline to the team, so it needs to be secure, accessible, and ready to use at a moment's notice. A chest harness is ideal. It keeps the radio snug against your chest, away from rocks, branches, or any sudden slips. You don't want it bouncing around or tucked away where it's hard to reach when you need it most. With a quick shorthand motion, you can key the mic and get your message out. No fumbling, no dropping, no wasted seconds. This keeps you focused on a rescue and your own safety, while staying in constant communication with the team. A couple of quick tips for the wilderness. Make sure your harness is adjusted comfortably, the radio doesn't bounce, and the antenna isn't trapped under straps or branches. Remember, line of sight matters, just like we talked about in the previous slide. Treat your radio like a tool you'll need in a heartbeat. It should always be within reach and ready to go. Hands-free microphones can help in noisy or windy rescue environments, such as high-angle operations or near-flowing water. They include options like throat microphones or headsets with built-in noise cancellation. Good communication doesn't just happen, it's planned. Before you get into the high-angle or wilderness environment, make sure your team has at least 2 ways to communicate. That way, if one fails, you're not left in the dark. Non-electronic methods like whistle blasts are simple but effective. They don't rely on batteries or radios and can be lifesavers when distance, terrain, or interference blocks your signal. Practice using these methods ahead of time so everyone knows what the signals mean and can react quickly. When electronics fail or you're out of reach, a whistle can be your lifeline. In rope rescue, we use a SUDOT system, a simple, standardized way to send clear messages over distance. Each signal is short, distinct, and easy to remember. S, stop, 1 short blast. Freeze right where you are. U, up, 2 short blasts. Haul or move the load up. D, down, 3 short blasts. Lower the load or move down. O, off rope, for short blasts. Disconnect or clear the rope. T, trouble, 1 long, continuous blast. Something's wrong. Stop and pay attention. Practice makes perfect. Everyone should know these signals, so the team can stay safe, even when wind, terrain, or distance blocks your voice or radio. Even the best radios and whistles can't save a rescue if people aren't communicating clearly. Most communication failures are caused by humans, not equipment. Here's how to stay sharp in the field. Be clear and concise. Use simple words and few syllables. Think stop instead of whoa. Keep messages short and direct. Give physical directions. Describe directions from the rescuer's perspective. For example, river right means the rescuer's right when facing downstream. Use geographic references. Identify landmarks or terrain features to avoid confusion. Stick to standard commands. Everyone on the team should use the same words for the same actions. Consistency prevents mistakes under stress. Remember, your voice, gestures, and signals are tools just like your ropes and harnesses. Handle them with care and precision, and the team will move safely and efficiently. Safety in the field starts with speaking up. Don't wait for someone else. Your observation can make all the difference. Speak up with critical information. If you notice a hazard or a change in conditions, share it immediately. Every detail counts. Don't assume others will. Just because someone else is nearby doesn't mean they've seen it. Be proactive. Open communication doesn't happen naturally. Teams need encouragement and structure to speak freely. Silence is not safety. Encourage team participation. During briefings or check-ins, remind everyone's expected to communicate concerns, updates, and observations, especially during critical moments. Think of it like hiking a trail. If you spot a fallen tree ahead, don't hope someone else will warn the group. Speak up and help everyone move safely. Safety in the field starts with speaking up. Don't wait for someone else. Your observation can make all the difference. Speak up with critical information. If you notice a hazard or a change in conditions, share it immediately. Every detail counts. Don't assume others will. Just because someone else is nearby doesn't mean they've seen it. Be proactive. Open communication doesn't happen naturally. Teams need encouragement and structure to speak freely. Silence is not safety. Encourage team participation. During briefings or check-ins, remind everyone's expected to communicate concerns, updates, and observations, especially during critical moments. Think of it like hiking a trail. If you spot a fallen tree ahead, don't hope someone else will warn the group. Speak up and help everyone move safely. Every incident deserves a name. Think of it like naming your campsite on a trail map. It keeps everyone on the same page. Assign a name. Give every incident a clear name that will be used from start to finish. This makes it easier to track resources, coordinate teams, and reference the incident later. Consistency matters. Use the name consistently during the response and afterward for reports, debriefs, and lessons learned. Helps coordination. A clear incident name improves communication between teams, agencies, and command staff. Everyone knows exactly what you're talking about. Recurring incidents. If incidents happen at the same location multiple times, add extra details to avoid confusion. Date. Helps differentiate one incident from another. Incident number. A unique reference for official tracking. A good incident name is like a trail sign. It points everyone in the right direction and keeps the operation running smoothly. Demobilization isn't just cleaning up. It's making sure we're ready for the next call. Return to ready state. Every resource should be restored to operational readiness before leaving the scene. Leadership responsibility. Command and team leaders stay in place until all personnel and resources have been released. IC oversight. The incident commander ensures a demobilization plan exists, is communicated to everyone, and is actually followed. Plan components. Should include the timeline and process for releasing resources and an anticipated timeline for when they'll be back in service. People are the most critical resource on any incident, and demobilization is a time to make sure everyone leaves safe, accounted for, and ready for the next call. On-site debriefing. Before personnel leave the scene, conduct a structured debrief. Discuss what went well, challenges faced, lessons learned, and any safety concerns. This ensures critical information is shared, and team members leave with a clear understanding of the operation's outcome. Performance review. Evaluate performance as appropriate. This can be formal or informal depending on the situation. Recognize effective teamwork. Identify areas for improvement and provide constructive feedback. This helps build future team performance and accountability. Documentation. Maintain accurate records of personnel check-in and check-out times, assignments, and other relevant information. This ensures that accountability is maintained, supports reporting requirements, and helps with operational analysis after the incident. Rest, rehabilitation, and sanitation. Ensure personnel have time to rest, hydrate, and address any medical or physical needs. Provide access to rehabilitation areas if available, and ensure hygiene and sanitation needs are met. This is particularly important after long duration or physically demanding incidents. Anticipated return to service. Clearly communicate when personnel are expected to be available again. This allows command and leadership to plan future operations or rotations efficiently and ensures no one is overextended or left fatigued. Additional considerations. Monitor for signs of fatigue or stress. Encourage team members to speak up if they feel unsafe or unfit to continue. Ensure any injuries, near misses, or exposures are documented and reported to the appropriate authority. Debriefing is also an opportunity to reinforce lessons learned and any updates to SOPs or safety protocols. Demobilization is more than packing up. It's making sure our people leave healthy, informed, and prepared for the next mission. Gear doesn't take care of itself. Give it the attention it deserves. Inventory. Conduct a complete account of all rope rescue equipment and other tools used during the incident. Make sure nothing is missing and verify that all specialized equipment is accounted for. This step ensures readiness for the next mission. Inspection and maintenance. Examine ropes, harnesses, hardware, and tools for wear, damage, or contamination. Address any issues immediately. Replace or repair items as necessary. Clean and dry ropes and other gear thoroughly before storage to prevent long-term damage and maintain reliability. Return and resupply. Return all equipment to its assigned cache or storage location. Replace any lost or damaged items and restock expendable supplies, such as webbing, carabiners, tape, or gloves. This ensures the team is always ready for the next operation without delay. Documentation. Record the usage of all equipment, including maintenance performed, items repaired, replaced, or lost. Accurate records help track the lifespan of gear, support budget planning, and maintain accountability for all assets. Taking care of our equipment is taking care of our team. Well-maintained gear saves lives. Vehicles are the pack mules of our operations. Keep them ready, safe, and mission capable. Refueling. Ensure all vehicles are returned with full fuel tanks. Check fuel levels for specialized apparatus, support vehicles, and any response trailers. Proper refueling prevents delays on the next incident and avoids potential damage from running low on fuel. Maintenance. Perform any required maintenance functions, including fluid checks, tire pressure, brake inspections, and operational checks of specialized systems. Identify any issues and schedule repairs as needed to maintain vehicle reliability. Cleaning. Clean both the exterior and interior of all vehicles. Remove mud, debris, or contaminants that may have accumulated during the operation. Clean vehicles reduce wear, prevent corrosion, and present a professional appearance to the team. Restocking. Replenish vehicle-mounted equipment, medical supplies, and consumables such as fuel, lubricants, or tools. Ensure that all specialty resources, including air support equipment, rescue sleds, or medical kits, are returned to their proper locations. Specialty resources. Verify that all critical items, such as medical supplies, air support resources, or rope rescue tools stored in vehicles, are complete, functional, and ready for immediate deployment. A well-maintained and properly stocked vehicle is more than transportation. It's a life-saving tool that must be treated with care.
Remember, safety is not optional. Every rescuer is responsible for maintaining a secure environment at all times. Hazard awareness. Constantly monitor for hazards in all forms. Environmental, weather changes, unstable terrain, water hazards, falling debris. Physical, equipment malfunctions, structural instability, trip/fall hazards. Social and cultural, unpredictable behavior of bystanders or local personnel, cultural sensitivities, communication barriers. Situational vigilance. Complacency is one of the most common causes of injuries in technical rescue. Maintain constant awareness of your surroundings and anticipate potential risks before they escalate. Team responsibility. Each rescuer must not only protect themselves but also monitor the safety of teammates. Speaking up early can prevent accidents. The moment you relax your attention, someone gets hurt. Stay alert, stay alive. Now, let's talk accountability. This isn't paperwork, this is about life and death. You arrive on scene, you check in. You leave, you check out. That's non-negotiable. Supervisors, don't overload your span of control. One leader for too many people, and you're losing track of someone before you even realize it. Track every resource, personnel, gear, everything assigned to the operation. You have to know what's where and who's doing what at all times. Command stays in place until the last person leaves, the last piece of equipment is accounted for. Leadership doesn't walk away until the entire team is safe and all resources are ready to go again. If you skip a check, miss a call, or assume someone else has it handled, that's when things go wrong. Accountability isn't optional. It's how we keep each other alive out here. So remember, stay alert, speak up, watch your teammates, and follow every step of the accountability plan. That's how we operate safely. That's how we get everyone home at the end of the day.
All right, team. Let's talk about keeping the scene secure. This isn't just a box to check. It's critical to how the entire operation runs. From the moment we arrive until the very last responder has left, the area around the incident needs to be controlled. We want to limit traffic in and out, keep people safe, and prevent new hazards from popping up unexpectedly. Think of it like a protective bubble around the operation. That bubble is roughly 300 feet, unless command says otherwise. Everyone who doesn't belong inside stays outside. We monitor the vicinity constantly for developing hazards. Things change fast in the field, so stay alert. Barriers can really help here. Marker, tape, rope, or anything visible that tells bystanders, this is not your playground. If there's an area that's too dangerous, sometimes called a hot zone, we mark it clearly and make sure anyone entering knows they need the proper PPE. Assigning someone to watch the barriers can save a lot of headaches and prevent unauthorized access. When it's time to wrap up, don't just pack up and walk away. We verify a few key things first. Every rescuer is accounted for, all hazards are under control, and any subjects have been safely transferred to a responsible party. That's how we close an incident cleanly and safely. Follow your local protocols, but always remember the safety of your team and the people we rescue starts with how well you secure and manage the scene. Okay, team. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked but is absolutely critical: record keeping and documentation. Think of it like the memory of the incident. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. That's not just a saying. It's the rule in emergency operations. All records need to be maintained in a secure location, following whatever protocols your AHJ has in place. Accuracy and completeness are key. You want anyone reading these reports later, whether for legal reasons, training, or historical purposes, to be able to reconstruct exactly what happened from start to finish. This includes FEMA ICS forms, plus any other documents or materials relevant to the incident. And if multiple agencies were involved, make sure each gets the necessary copies. Remember, every decision, every action, every hazard you manage needs to be on record, because if it isn't written down, it simply didn't happen. Good documentation isn't just paperwork. It's a tool for accountability, learning, and improving every operation we do. All right, team, let's talk about data, because the numbers don't lie and they tell us how we can get better. Every agency has its own requirements, usually set by your AHJ, so the first step is knowing what they need from you. The real value comes in how we use that information. Good data collection helps us spot trends in the types of incidents we're responding to. Are there recurring problems or hazards we should anticipate? It also highlights shortfalls in our pre-plans. Maybe a builder we thought was simple actually has some tricky access points. But it doesn't stop there. Data shows us where we can improve training, update equipment, or refine procedures. There isn't one right or wrong way to collect this information. Every department should develop a system that works for them, something practical that captures what we really need. Bottom line, if we don't track it, we can't learn from it. Data is how we make smarter decisions and keep everyone safer. All right, team, now that the call is done and everyone's safe, it's time to hit the pause button and reflect. First, we do a hot debrief right on scene while it's fresh. It doesn't need to be long, just a quick look at what went well, what was tricky, and any immediate lessons we can grab before everyone leaves. Later, we do a more structured debrief. This is where tools like the TMS framework and the 5 why analysis come in. They help us dig deeper into what happened, uncover useful insights, and see how we can do better next time. And here's the key. This isn't about finger-pointing or laying blame. It's about honest reflection on ourselves and the team. We're looking to learn, to improve, and to push toward excellence. Think of it as sharpening the tools in your own toolbox, your skills, your decision-making, your teamwork, all so the next call goes even smoother. All right, team, let's wrap this up and tie all the pieces together. The Incident Action Plan, or IAP, really starts forming the moment the first responders arrive. It's the backbone of the operation. It sets the tone and lays the groundwork for everything that follows. The IAP isn't static. It's developed and updated continuously by the incident commander, but it's not a solo job. Input from all general staff is essential to keep it accurate and relevant. If you want a framework, FEMA's Planning P is a great tool. It breaks the process into 5 phases: understanding the situation, setting objectives, developing the plan, preparing and sharing it, and then executing, evaluating, and revising as things unfold. Of course, an IAP works best when it's integrated into the incident command system. That coordination is what keeps everyone on the same page. When we talk rope rescue specifically, remember that solid communication strategies are key. Use your voice, whistle, radio, and hand signals to keep the team connected and safe. Finally, an incident isn't over until it's really over. Effective termination means making sure all resources are accounted for, documentation is complete, and everything's ready so the team can respond to the next call without delay. Keep these principles in mind, and you'll not only manage incidents safely, but also set the standard for operational excellence.